Open Your Eyes is brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.
Welcome to Open Your Eyes.
Start your morning right. I am John Palacio.
And I'm Marlene Cuellar, and thank you for joining us this morning.
That's right. We're so thankful that you could join us this morning and starting your morning right with us. And in speaking of starting your morning right, I always believe that starting our morning right is to actually brief you on what the newscast always showcases.
Yeah.
And Marlene, there's so many things we could actually talk about in the newscast. Things are happening in this country that you wonder, like, where, how, or why. But the big news actually is there are two big news. There are two big news.
There's always a lot happening.
Yes,
but
the one to me that, of course, to discuss would be 30% of the tests or the cases, the coronavirus cases that we find on a daily basis are with variants.
Mm-hmm. Variants of concern.
Variants of concerns, and it seems like it's not only one.
Yeah.
You know, so these are concerning situations here, and the Central Medical Lab, of course, like they're saying, they're overwhelmed. You know, they're doing basically double work and long hours, and so we want to continue to appeal to people. We need to do something about it. You know.
Yeah, you know, I think that's an important update to share, and that update is that there is no update. We're still awaiting the results of what variant was detected in Belize.
Yeah.
Now, many of the professionals in the medical community have said it's most likely Delta for several reasons. It's all around us, one, but also because of the rapid spread that we've been seeing in the past few weeks. Yesterday, we only had 18 positive cases, but it's not a time to jump up and say we're doing the right thing. We know the cycles of our spikes. It's about 2 weeks that we see. If we get things under control, it starts to reduce after 2 weeks. But, so you pointed out that the Central Medical Lab, or reporter, with the News 5 team, Paul Lopez, went to the Central Medical Lab, and he was able to talk to them about the process itself. We spoke with Baylor College when they were doing the training here, and so they told us that they were going to, teach the technicians how to be able to detect the different variants, but to know what specific variant it is, it has to go for further testing, for what they call the gene sequencing. So we're still waiting on the results to see what it is, but we do know that the tests that are being done now at the Central Medical Lab go through a second layer of testing to find out if it's one of the variant of concerns, and they're saying 30% of them are in fact the variant.
And variants, and that's what that's the word that was that was used by the folks there at the Central Medical Lab. Not variant, but variants, and it seems that they originate, not necessarily originating, but we're detecting it in the north and in the south. That's where we're detecting it. And so we want for folks to, once again, continue to adhere to these social distance protocols so we could eventually continue to stay safe. There's another news coming out, and sticking with... sure, go ahead.
I just wanted to say that, I know that we have been really hyper-focused on Delta because that's the one the rest of the world is talking about.
Yes.
But there are other variants out there. You're talking Alpha, Beta, Gamma, Delta, Lambda. And they have several others as well. They're using the Greek alphabet now because they don't want to feed into kind of the stigma that comes with tying it with a specific country. But, all of these variants, whichever one it is, do have a higher transmissibility rate, which means that they are spread a lot faster. You can catch it a lot easier. But looking on the flip side of this, while we are very concerned about variants and we still continue to monitor what we find out it to be, what type of variant it is, and also monitoring those COVID numbers, we're looking at the vaccination numbers, and they're moving up. And yesterday, I think there were over 4,000 people vaccinated.
Yes. So, those numbers are actually skyrocketing, and I think that's the right way to go, because what we're doing is that we're trying our best to keep each other safe. It's actually 3,968. That was yesterday. We're at the total there, 96,569. and fully vaccinated 35, 369. So we're actually moving in the right direction as we speak. And of course, those incentives are still out there. You know, there are incentives that got kick-started, I think it was last week. And those numbers continue to come on out in terms of your card number.
Yeah.
So you can check that out whenever it's posted. You check it out. If it is yours, then you claim your prize. I mean, there's so many wonderful prizes you could claim: money, credit, trips. Yeah. Who wouldn't want a trip? And and just to stress on that, even though we've been vaccinated already, fully vaccinated, our numbers are also in that barrel. So. For those of you who've been fully vaccinated, your chance is, of course, still there. And what we could see on the screen, Marlene, is folks actually going out, and there are long lines. There are lines. Folks are actually lining up to get the vaccine, which shows that we're going in the right direction to make sure that our country rebound from this coronavirus.
Without a doubt, there is an increase in the number of vaccinations taking place, and not just in Belize City, as we've documented before. Yesterday, we took a look at Cayo and in Placencia, where there were also long lines. The Ministry of Health is on an aggressive campaign. And, there are multiple reasons that we know why people are getting vaccinated. One, all phases are open. So if you were 19 and wanted to get vaccinated, you can now go because you are now allowed to get vaccinated. I know the concern about variants is one that has definitely pushed people to go to get vaccinated as well. And of course, the third and also a really critical one are people who are going to be faced with a decision as to whether or not they get vaccinated. If they choose to get vaccinated, they don't have to test, but if they're frontline workers, they will have to get tested every 2 weeks if they want to go back to work.
Indeed,
and so, the cost and time associated with that is also prompting some people to go on out and get vaccinated.
Definitely, and of course there is a list out of who a frontline who a frontline worker is. Yeah. There is also a list out with that, and there's so many rumors though going around, and there are folks who are actually putting it in a negative light, and the BDF situation is a perfect one to segue into, whereby they're saying, or it was rumored and put out on social media, that if they're not vaccinated, they shouldn't show up to work. Like, hey, get vaccinated or get terminated. But the higher ranks of the BDF came out yesterday in the newscast again and said, you know what, that is not from the highest office in the BDF. So it is a rumor. It's not true. It's false, actually. And of course,
they said that they're working within what the latest SI says, which is if you're a frontline worker, you have to get tested every 2 weeks, or if you're not vaccinated. I understand, there are a lot of concerns out there with this particular decision, but a decision had to be made as to how to move forward.
Definitely.
Because of the risks associated with COVID-19. So that is, we'll see how that pans out if it gets more people vaccinated. But speaking of vaccinated, and we see in other parts of the world where, if you want to have access to certain things, you must be vaccinated. So if you want to go to a Broadway show in New York, you have to present your vaccination. If you want to go on a cruise, like the cruise ship that is arriving this morning, big day for us here in Belize.
Indeed.
The cruise ship, they are at 99% vaccinated and functioning, I think, at 70% capacity.
Yeah.
And so that is, there it is. That's the first cruise ship returning to Belize after over a year when the pandemic shut down the business of cruise tourism 16 months ago.
Yeah.
It was longer than that now, I think. But it is a very big day. We're going to be having a further conversation about that, about what this means and the preparations that are taking place. John, I this morning I thought to myself, what it must be like for people who are directly related to cruise tourism. A tour guide, a hair braider, who just literally had their source of income shut down over a year ago, and either relied on assistance or picked up a side hustle or been struggling in the past year and a half. What today must be like for them.
Indeed. Actually, when I took a look at the picture there, I got goosebumps, and I got goosebumps simply because we know that these folks, they play a very big part of that financial situation within our country, and everybody depends on it. There were thousands of tourism workers who were out of a job at the closure of cruise tourism in Belize, and that happened in a matter of seconds there. but now they're coming back. And I wonder what that feeling is like. So much so that I wish we could have been having that as the backdrop, or being out there and chit-chatting with these people, because finally there is some light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, it would have been great, but there are a lot of protocols that have been put in place, especially for the arrival point for tourists. It's such a critical part of the negotiation in getting the cruise tourism industry started again, from the cooperation of what the cruise ships would mandate and the passengers that would then go on the ship, to the port of entries that they're going to come into and what is going to be expected there. So this is just the first ship, but it is, as I said, I thought of the people who have been looking forward to this day. And there are many people who have their thoughts on the benefits or pros and cons of cruise tourism, but for those who rely on it as their source of income, it's all pros for them, and today is a big day.
Starting at the top of the week on Monday, there was some heavy cleaning going on at the tourist village.
Yeah.
I passed by a few times, checked it out a few times.
Buses are running this morning.
Buses are running,
I haven't seen that in a long time.
And this is to get the tourists from point A to point Z in terms of where they'd like to visit in the country. And and it begs to say that, come on, guys, folks are coming in from various parts of the world. Get vaccinated, all right? Get vaccinated. All right, and that summed it up for what took place in the newscast last night. Of course, we invite you to check out Channel 5's newscast at 6 o'clock later on this evening.
That's right.
We take a look at the weather. No, it's actually the eye-opener. So some motivation for you.
All right, today's eye-opener, taken from dailyom.com, goes like this. We all have glorious imperfections, making us utterly human. At some point in our life, there may come a time when we feel insecure about ourselves. We might judge our ability to do something, or feel self-conscious about the way we look. It does not matter how this feeling manifests in our life, but it is important to be aware of our thoughts and how they impact our view of ourselves. Once we remember that insecurities are a normal part of life for everyone, even those who appear to be extremely self-assured, we may find it easier to step back from the uncertainty that lies within and take a more realistic look at ourselves. When we hold up such a detailed mirror to our lives and weigh ourselves against others, we're not able to see the things that make us truly unique. Giving ourselves permission to appreciate all the universe has given us, however, will make us feel more secure about ourselves and more able to use our gifts to their fullest.
We're not perfect, folks. That is what it's saying here. And that's okay. That is okay. Give yourself the permission to appreciate all the universe has given to you. Let's try to do that. Marlene, you always, it's normal that you would actually look at yourself and be conscious of some things that you find might not be normal, or because it looks different on somebody else, you like to see it, you'd want for that to happen. But at the same time, it's totally okay, and there's so many things within this eye-opener that, of course, we must be cognizant of so we could appreciate what it's actually telling us. But at the same time, folks, we're not perfect. And that is okay. That's how I feel about the eye-opener for this morning.
I think the eye-opener was just straight to the point.
Straight to the point.
It's just absolutely perfect the way it is. It's a very important reminder. Be careful. Stand guard to the thoughts of your mind, and don't allow yourself to be weighed down by what you think is some kind of impossible standard of perfection. And it's not just, and we say that sometimes when people think just physical outlook. And we all have our flaws and blemishes.
We all do.
But beyond that, it's in your personality traits, your character traits, your skill sets. We all have moments where we feel weak, and we have to step away sometimes and make sure we're actually looking at the right picture, not the distorted ones we've allowed ourselves to shape up.
Distorted ones, huh?
Yeah.
Indeed. But the eye-opener was directly to the point, like you mentioned, and we do hope that you take heed of it. We're not perfect, and that is okay. That is okay. All right, it's time to take a look at the weather, and that weather comes courtesy Uno.
Or prepared forecast for this morning.
All right.
And
it says here, in the general situation, it calls for generally fair.
Oh, wait, we did get them on the line.
Right,
it's Francisca. There she is.
Francisca.
Good morning, Francisca.
Good morning, good morning.
Good
For
morning.
a moment there, we thought you didn't want to join us.
Oh, this one just rang.
Francisca, it is a beautiful morning.
Morning it
I
is,
mean, I
indeed.
I don't know how hot it's going to get, but at least this morning it's nice.
It won't get too hot, don't worry.
All right, thank God for that. But let's get on into it. So what should we expect in the general situation?
Okay, so we're seeing fair conditions today. We'll see lots of sunshine, a few cloudy spells, and we are only seeing isolated showers, and that's around the country.
So what does that say about our 24-hour forecast?
Okay, so for the winds, we'll be seeing easterly winds, 10 to 20 knots, and moderate seas. We'll be seeing temperatures of 89 along the coast, 95 inland, and 84 up in the Maya Mountains.
All right,
And
lows
then
for tonight?
overnight, 82 along the coast, 76 inland, and 66 up in the Maya Mountains.
That's great. And, of course, for our extended forecast, what should we expect?
Okay, we'll continue to see this beautiful weather tonight, tomorrow, but tomorrow night we'll see a slight increase in shower activity along the coast, and that's because our winds will be picking up and bringing a little bit of moisture over us.
All right. We've been warned. And in terms of the tropics, is there anything of concern?
Elsa.
Not in our area. We do have Elsa out there. Currently, it's about 115 miles northwest of Tampa, Florida. It is still moving northward at 14 miles per hour with winds of 65 miles per hour.
Wow. All right. Well, and there's nothing close to us to monitor.
Nothing in our area at this time. So, good, beautiful weather.
All right, Francisca, we want to thank you so very much for that.
Okay, you're welcome.
All right, thank you.
And that weather forecast, of course, came courtesy of Uno.
This weather update is brought to you by Uno Belize. I choose Dynamax for highest performance of my vehicle. Uno fuels are powered with Dynamax for diesel and gasoline engines. These fuels provide cleanliness and extra protection with the highest performance from the beginning. Try them today and experience the difference.
All right.
All right, just like that, we are back. Now we know exactly what to expect with the weather. The forecasters are saying that the weather is going to be beautiful for the rest of the day. All right.
And as we said, today is a big day as the first cruise ship arrives back in the country. And our conversation this morning, we're going to be talking to two representatives of tour guide associations. We're going to find out how they've been preparing, how they feel about the restart of the cruise tourism industry, and just how they've been faring off in the past 18 months. So that's going to be our first conversation for this morning.
That's right. And for the second conversation, we'll be meeting a husband and wife duo, and they're the ones behind a site called Ladyville Highlights. It's actually a Facebook page, Ladyville Highlights.
Yeah.
What do they do? What does it mean? What do they have?
I'm a big fan of their page. They've found some amazing stories and they've helped so many people. So we're going to find out how they got it started and why they were interested in even getting this going. So we'll have the husband and wife team telling us all about it in the second part of the show.
And in the third part of our show this morning, we'll be meeting Olympian Sean Gill. Actually, he'll be making his way to the Olympics representing Belize. Woohoo! We'll be meeting Sean, asking him about his preparation and what to expect from Sean when he goes to Tokyo. It's going to be a great show this morning, so we invite for you to stay with us. When we come back, we'll dive directly into our first conversation. It's going to be a great morning. Thank you for being with us this morning. We'll take a break and be back.
a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Una Fuels powered with Dynamax. Una, a brand committed with the future.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority. Fingerprint recognition coming soon. Social Security at your fingertips.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Infinite Health presents Common Sense Herbs, everything your body needs, and are all natural, dairy-free, non-GMO, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and are FDA monitored. Everything your body needs. Distributor in Belize, Infinite Health, Birdseye, Belize City. Telephone number 613-1914. That's 613-1940.
Today's COVID update is brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
We're back, and we're moving now into our first segment for the morning. And this one, of course, look forward to. We're talking here the arrival in Belize of the first cruise ship after 18 months. Now, that's some long time, but we've got folks to tell us all about it. We've got in with us, we've got Andy Bahadur of Cayo Tour Guide Association, Francisco Javier Herrera, he is the liaison officer of Cayo West Tour Operators, and Eliseo Ken, who is a Stan Creek rep for Blast. Guys, good morning and welcome. What a joyful day it is.
Good morning.
All right.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Ms. Marlene. Good morning, Mr. John. Thank you for having us this morning.
I'll tell you what, it's nice to have you guys in, and the topic is definitely one look forward to. Guys, it's finally here. Cruise tourism is back in Belize today, and that ship is out here in front of the Belize Harbor, and it's just waiting there for those folks to come on down. Let's get to Andy Bahadur first, being that that's the name I've got here first. Andy, what are your thoughts on this? How are you feeling about this?
Well, good morning again. Thank you, Mr. John. Thank you, Ms. Marlene again, and good morning, Belize and everyone. For us in San Ignacio area, we are in general excited about this reopening. We feel that it is something that is very good for the industry, very good for the economy, and definitely going to benefit a lot of Belizeans, tour guides, operators, and everybody who works with the cruise industry. So we are all excited. And we're glad to have heard all the protocols in place, all the requirements, everything that BTB has put together to ensure the safety of not only the guests, but also our people who work with the cruise ship. So definitely something that we are looking forward to on this end.
Francisco?
A pleasant morning. It's a beautiful day.
It is.
I must say I'm very happy to be here with you guys. Yes. Woke up early, took a nice shower, hot cup of coffee, and we're waiting for this for these buses to arrive early this morning for us to start doing tours for our visitors. We're more than happy to see our visitors starting to come back to visit us. It's about time. We put everything in place and in order. That's right. Beautiful morning, guys.
And Eliseo, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, good morning all the way from Stan Creek. We are anticipating the arrival on August 8th at Harvest Key.
Yeah.
And, well, we are going to be observing what will be taking place at FSTV and at other various sites throughout the country of Belize. But at the same time, well, we are glad that there is a restart, and we hope that all safety protocols will be followed by all the tour guides and tour operators, including the guests, and let's see what will take place.
That's right. So let's step back for a minute. And Andy, I want to get you to kind of just recap a bit of what we've discussed in the past. it has been a tough time for many of the members of the different associations, those associated with cruise tourism. Tell us a bit about the hardships that you have seen firsthand.
Well, good morning again. One of the things with our association, we are in the San Ignacio area. So there are a few of our guys that work directly with the cruise industry. Most of them are not directly working with the cruise. So we do have some in Socots and Benque that do trips there. But in general, we do get some business from the cruise lines. We get guides at work, operators at work. And in the last year, in general, it's been a very hard time. And one of the initiatives that we've been doing, of course, with our food drive, we've noticed that with the restart of the airport, with the reopening of the airport and the reopening of the western border, there has been more guides getting back to work. So we've seen that less and less tour guides are now requiring assistance from us. And it is the hope that with the cruise ships now returning, that's going to have a positive impact on them because they need to provide for their families, they have bills to pay, they have kids going to school. So it's a lot of stress placed on guides who have not been working, some for a year and a half almost. So it's great to see the restart of tourism with the cruise. And of course, it's going to be the same situation with those tour guides in the Belize City area, those that do cave tubing, that go to Alton Ha. So we have friends that work in that area, and many of them are really looking forward to getting back out there. It's a wonderful feeling. I've been doing tours. I have my tour operator as well, very small, and we've been getting people trickling in. And it's great when you have not been guiding for some time to get out there again. The feeling just being out and about, doing what you love, doing what you're good at, taking guests to see these beautiful destinations in our country. It's a wonderful feeling to get back out there, be on site, be on the road, just driving. It's something that it's hard to explain when you have not been doing it for a long time.
Well,
and
you
it's very positive for these guys.
Yeah, I was about to say, Andy, I hear the optimism in your voice and how you explained that just now. I know that you had told us that you work as a teacher as well, so you still had another source of income. Let's hear from the other two guests. Have you been able to find work to hold you over for the past year and a half?
Yes, I have been able to.
What were you doing?
Yeah. Well, you have to be creative, and so instead of doing tourism, I had to resort to becoming a courier of sorts.
Okay.
So I do have an ongoing business of providing prescription medication for people who need it, like especially if there's a shortage of diabetic medicine or hypertension. I have a connection with my Mexican courier, and so they bring it across for people at a very small charge. And that has been able to sustain me. Plus, I have my wife who works as a teacher, so we have been able to get by during this pandemic. I mean, it's our 17 months going.
Wow!
But we have survived.
Yeah. Did you get your new business started immediately after the cruise ship stopped coming, or was there just a moment that you said, I have to figure out what to do?
It was already in existence.
Okay.
It was already in existence, being from Corozal and then relocating to Stan Creek. It was already in existence.
All right.
All right, and Andy, Andy, you're there with us, right?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay, so
but I didn't get a response from
Okay. All right, so we didn't get a response from Francisco on this one.
Were you able to find work?
Well, we had a very difficult time, myself and my colleagues, my fellow members from Kaya West Tour Guide Association, correction there. Yes, personally speaking, we had to tough it up. But there's a wise saying that sometimes we need to learn to save for a rainy day.
Yeah.
So I was raised to be very careful of how we spend our monies and to save energy any which possible way we can. And it actually helped me survive these 12, 14 months, you know.
Yeah.
So it's very wise to try to save some for some difficult days ahead sometimes, you know.
So
And I must say, she has a business of her own, and we managed to maintain our family safe and secure.
Following the reopening of the Philip Golson International Airport, tourists started to trickle in one by one. As a matter of fact, a few weeks ago, I was in Western Belize, and it seemed a little vibrant. Did things pick up for you then, or you're finally starting to see something? How did that happen for you?
Well, we are based at the ferry at San Jose Socots, and due to that Shunan tonnage, which is very popular to visitors, the day that the airport was open, not all the guides returned. Some of them found work somewhere else, and the few of us that toughed it out were able to provide services, much needed services to those visitors starting coming in. So we at Socots, I must say, are very blessed to be living nearby to this ancient Mayan city named Xunantunich, you see? And Xunantunich has become very popular to visitors. It's a must-see for visitors to beautiful Belize. And I must say, yes, we're very blessed to have been nearby to this ancient city.
Guys, let's talk vaccine rollout, and I'll stick with you, Francisco, for the time being.
Yes,
the folks that you've got working for you, what are their
Yes, sir.
thoughts on the vaccine, and do you have 100% vaccination among your guys?
Those guys that are showing up, that showed up since it all started to come back, yes, most of these guys have vaccinated. They have seen the wisdom in getting vaccinated for our own safety, our family's safety, and our visitors' safety, you know? So yes, I must say most of our guys there have been vaccinated, including myself. Yes, sir.
Andy Bahadur, Kayo Tours Association, what about your guys?
Yes, good morning again. Now, well, personally, I saw the benefit of getting the vaccine, so I've already received the first dose. And many of our guides, we've encouraged them. Of course, it's a personal decision, but many of the guides who are working at the moment have received their vaccines. And from that end, I think it's within the industry, it makes sense. I mean, you're out there, you're on the front line, you're exposed. It does make sense to get the vaccine. And at the end of the day, we provide the information and we encourage those who feel the need to do so to get it. From the teaching end, that's a different story. But from the tourism industry, being in the front lines, it does make sense. And we encourage those in the front lines in tourism to get vaccinated as well.
Eliseo?
Well, BLAS represents Belize City, and we also have members in Cayo, and a lot of them are cruise ship guides. So we did right away sign up for the vaccine, especially with our San Pedro representative, Mr. Billy Leslie. He was very instrumental, and also in Toledo, Mr. Bruno Koppinger.
Yeah.
And so we were vaccinated, and most of our members are fully vaccinated as of now.
Yeah. Eliseo, tell us a bit, you know, I think Andy, and especially when you're talking about the West, they're talking about seeing some of the tourists come back since the travelers started coming into the country through the airport. What's it been like in the South? Are you and other guides kind of just anxiously awaiting for cruise tourism to get started?
Yes, most of the guys down south we are anxiously waiting for cruise tourism to get started, as many of us are employed directly by the largest tour operators here in the area.
Yeah.
So across Placencia, I do see a lot of my fellow tour guides on the Placencia working in divers and fishing guides, etc. But a lot of the mainland tour guides, especially on this side of the lagoon, in Independence and also Toledo, are patiently looking for the restart.
Now let's bring it back to the moment too, because I want to talk about the preparations A year ago, we were talking about the gold standards that had to be implemented for tour guides, and that was the whole sanitization process from when you arrive and greet the tourists to the full way through. How much of that is a part of what will be rolled out when the tourists come back, and what other preparations have had to been put in place from your end?
Well, as tour guides, we did have to take our safety protocols very seriously, as we are the frontline personnel. And so we have applied it to all our vehicles, and also I'm sure that part of our kit is sanitizers and also aerosol spray, along with masks. We do have extra masks with, for all our guests in case they forget. And even our all our vehicles are equipped with the standard equipment now, apart from fire extinguishers, etc. Now, all of us have thermometers, digital thermometers, and the things that we have done additional investment in ourselves, because we also had extra training, and we just completed our countrywide training for our tour guides in the first aid, with an emphasis on the communicable disease.
So, and for those of you who have been receiving tourists who've been going, like when they go to Sunantanich or they're doing tours in the West, what's different about the tourists when they come now? I mean, clearly they're traveling in a pandemic, but are they making different requests? Are they very careful with protocols? Are you able to get them to keep on their masks? Tell us about what the experience is like.
Well, to start with, we would normally welcome our visitors with a strong handshake. I've seen less of that. Some of us are used to bidding farewell, sometimes with a warm hug, and that too we have seen much less of that. We are definitely prepared with gold standard certifications. Our tour guides are definitely well prepared with their hand sanitizers, masks, and respecting all the rules put in place. Except that sometimes we're getting confusing information from different branches, trying to keep the place maintained in order. We're getting feedback from visitors saying that in the USA, after vaccination, they are able to remove that mask. And at Shunantunich, we're getting mixed, confusing information, and we're trying to clarify that before we find any difficulties. We definitely want to work in harmony with the tourist police, with the niche staff, and also, of course, with Belize Tourism Board, you know? So I just needed to mention that we need to sit and dialogue and try to clarify these pointers. Yes, that's right.
That's a valid point. I mean, I know, or I imagine that there will be tourists that will come and not want to wear the mask because they are fully vaccinated. But when you think of climbing up Sunantanich, is a mask required? Because that's technically exercise.
Yeah, indeed. Have you gotten clarity if they should wear or they should not wear?
We have sat with Belize Tourism Board officials, and we were told it's like, let's say, climbing the temple or going up that steep incline before we enter the main plazas, that we can at least lower below our nose and breathe freely.
Okay.
I'm glad that Mr. Grant, Tourist Police, was present during that meeting, and he totally agrees. He was there, he witnessed, he heard what BTB officials said. Now we're getting feedback from management of the site niche that masks must be worn at all times. But then when you take when you go farther into the tour, we see groups completely no one wearing masks, and like I said, it's causing a bit confusion, you know. And the last thing we want to see for our members is to see anyone get caught up with any large having to pay any large fines for disrespecting anyone's interpretation of these very important protocols, you see.
Yeah.
As we always say, safety first. Safety first and safety first. So very important.
So being that you guys are seeing tourists, are they asking for anything different? How are they feeling when you meet them and greet them in the safest way possible? What are the first thing they ask you?
Just in general, you guys asking how have we managed over the last 12, 14 months, you know? And most of them are very happy to be coming back to visit too. And I must say, I'm really happy to see them coming back too, you know?
That's very thoughtful that they're concerned of how things were. I think, Andy, you were chiming in?
Yes, I think when it comes to the cruise ships coming in, opening up again, we can use some of the examples from what we are currently seeing and apply that to what's going to be expected, like with the gold standards. For instance, to give you an idea of what happens, when we meet our guests, when I go on a tour, we have a little introduction, a little briefing that we do, and of course, the protocols are now included in that. We take temperatures of guests, we spray, mist them, as well as sanitize their hands. We inform them they must wear their mask. So those are things that are part of the gold standard, and for the operators that are now going to be handling those guests coming off the cruise ships, those are going to be expected. So there's a log of guests, there's temperatures taken, and we are expected to have additional sanitizing, cleaning equipment, masks, all of those things in the vehicle. From my experience being out on tours in the past month or so, most of the guests are willing to comply. They're happy to see that these protocols are in place. It makes them feel safer. And of course, for me, it makes me feel safer as well because I'm in a vehicle with them. So it does ensure safety on both ends. And because that is part of the gold standard that's required, it's going to be applied to those coming in from the cruise ships. So some people that are, what's going to happen, there are a lot of procedures and protocols in place. However, one of the things that my friend from the Kaya Western Guide Association has brought up is a valid point, because I remember doing the training and I've had to inform my guests, if you feel short of breath and you are on a tour, I've instructed them step away from the group, take a time and you can remove your mask and breathe and then come back and join the group afterwards. So those are things that those were explained to us as operators. That is fine. But we're getting some mixed information when it comes to the mask wearing. I mean, if you are climbing up stairs and you're having difficulty breathing, then that becomes a safety and health issue for you immediately. So those are things that I think will need some clarification. And for the people that are coming from the cruise ships, they will be going to sites like Alton Ha, they'll be going cave tubing, some of them will be doing snorkeling. For the water trips, that's a different procedure. Of course, you're not going to have your mask when you're in the water. But when it comes to hiking, when it comes to climbing, those are things that the operators need clarification on. And I think for the most part, the guests are willing to stick to the protocols. They're happy. I've had several guests that are, spray me a couple more times. They like that because some of them are coming from Guatemala, they're coming from other countries, and those procedures are very lax. They feel a lot safer with the things that we're doing here, and they can see it. And so some of them are like, spray me again, do this, do that. And every time they come out of my vehicle, every time they go back in, they go through a whole other check down again, spraying again before they get back in the vehicle. And every single person has been willing to go through that, and they're appreciative of that process, ensuring that their safety is, in the forefront there.
Andy, that's interesting because I think we're getting perspective as to how tourists are thinking. They're traveling, but they're still being cautious, in other words. Let me ask, you talked about mask wearing and that being a challenge. Some don't want to wear it. Some are, concerned about climbing and doing rigorous activity with it. But what about things like social distancing? Because when we think back to what a particular site looks like on a cruise ship day, how practical or how much is it possible to maintain the social distancing?
So from what I understand, there's going to have a group per guide, so I guess the guide ratio. I think the SI says you can't be in groups of more than 10, so you have 9 guests and 1 guide.
Okay.
Majority of the time, that allows you some spacing in between.
Okay.
And most of the guests that I've been dealing with, it's families together or one group that are traveling together. Now we have, people coming off the cruise. You might have mixed groups. And once you have mixed groups, then the mask wearing becomes a must. You're in the vehicle, you're not a family, you're not together, you must wear your mask. So the distancing on site is going to be somewhat manageable because of the guest to guide ratio. But you add that into the mask wearing, that does help to add an extra layer of protection there. Not sure if anybody else wants to jump in there.
So with the 10 person per tour guide, that actually increases the number of guides who can get back to work, doesn't it?
Well, for the terrestrial sites, it does because it was 15, but for the marine, for the water, it's 8-1.
Okay.
So it's any type of marine water activity tours, it's 8-1. So that's something that has been shared as well. But when it comes to like Shanantunechka, Halpech, Alton High, it used to be 15. So it does ensure that more guides are able to find employment and get back out there with these guests that are coming in, especially off the cruise ships.
Now, Eliseo, I know that the ships don't arrive in the south until August, you said, but how are bookings looking so far?
The tour operator will have answer to that. I guess Mr. Wilson from H2O Tierra would be able to answer that question. From what I know in Placencia, the hotels that I work with, they are reporting good numbers, like what they see normally in December.
Okay.
So their numbers are increasing. So it looks good. It looks good.
Yeah.
So clarity again, until August, you guys will be seeing visitors at NCL.
August 8th at Harvest Key.
Okay. Wow.
Now, I guess it's a time to be cautiously optimistic. I hear, and having had several conversations with tour operators over the past year and a half, I hear a difference in the excitement that you have. When you see at the same time where the ships start coming back that we start seeing a spike in numbers, tell me about, the concerns that you have.
Well, if there is a spike in numbers, it's usually along the borders, and also we're in the more congested areas like in Belize City. But we have an assurance that the ships are doing the correct thing by having majority of their passengers vaccinated, except for the ones that will be coming in unvaccinated because of their age or other health reasons, and they will be operating in a bubble tour. So even when they were coming in through the airport and also now on the cruise ships, we have the assurance that they are going through more stiffer protocols than us, than when we are waiting here. I mean, we already have our gold standard protocols that we went through from a year ago, and now we are practicing it more than ever. And now it's real time now. It's real time, like especially those who have been already working in the tourism industry.
Yeah. And for the rest of you gentlemen, go ahead.
Yeah, I listened to a conference that they had regarding the cruise ships, and I think majority of the guests are vaccinated. And I think Mr. Eliseo alluded to this. There are a few of them that are not vaccinated, and they will be handled differently.
Okay.
So that helps to add, some ease of mind. They'll be in a bubble operating separately from all the other guests. But I think to answer the question, when it comes to the spike in cases we have in the South Belize City, but for the guests that are coming, I actually feel somewhat safe because I know that they have, guests that I've been working with so far have been vaccinated, and they have to produce a negative test when I get them, like if they're coming in from the border. So you don't know the Belizeans that you're interacting with, you don't know if they've been tested, if they've been vaccinated. But for the most part, the guests that are coming in, most of them would have been vaccinated and or would have to produce a negative test. So, and then when you pick up the guests, they are pretty much handled with a gold standard transportation. They go to gold standard hotels, so they're handled very safely. They have protocols in place. For the crews that are coming, it's going to be similar because they'll be coming in. If you think of almost all of them being vaccinated, a gold standard operator will pick them up. They will take them to tour, bring them back, and then they leave. So that helps to ensure some level of protection when it comes to the Belizeans here. That's a concern I know that some people have raised. But I think the way it's laid out, there has been a lot of thought given to it, and I feel safe with the procedures. I feel confident in the protocols that they have established.
Okay.
Yeah. So how many people are you taking to St. Antonich today?
Leave that for KaiOS.
KaiOS, yeah.
Well, we have two guides waiting at the ferry. We received these bus loads of cruise ship visitors. I'm not too sure how many buses coming in, but I know of myself and other should be there waiting to do tours for these groups coming in. Yes, we're more than happy to be myself and my colleagues. I realized are very passionate and love what we do.
Yeah.
So yes, I must say we're looking forward to a very beautiful day.
Yeah.
As long as it doesn't rain out and you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
It does happen sometimes, you know.
It is a part of the excitement, man. Come
I could,
on,
you know,
right?
these first guests are gonna get all the energy and excitement from these tour guides that haven't been able to chat about Belize for a long time.
That's right.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to.
Now
Yes.
let me just ask one more question. I know we're running out of time very quickly, but there is also a statutory instrument. All of you have said that you're vaccinated, but we know that there are people who are choosing not to get vaccinated. How do your fellow coworkers feel about having to test every 2 weeks if they choose not to get vaccinated? Have you gotten any insight from friends or coworkers?
Well, that would be those that goes to Belize City, to the tourism village.
Yeah.
Here at the ferry, we are most of our guides are definitely have been encouraged before to be wise and get vaccinated. You know.
So they're not hesitating.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. We don't have any difficulties with any members refusing or not wanting to get vaccinated. You know.
All right.
So that's very good. That's good. You know.
That's good.
We must safety as always is very important for us, our families, and our visitors.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Eliseo, do you have anybody in your group that are hesitant, and what are their thoughts on having to take a PCR test or get tested every 2 weeks?
Well, the hesitancy would have been like for our members, like what was inside the box. How will it help them? Especially if they are not working inside the FSTV compound, do they need to get vaccinated? So there are some operators who work strictly outside of FSTV, and so they have chosen not to get vaxxed. Probably they will need to do this swabbing every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And we don't know if it will be an additional expense or will it be offered by the government for free as being a frontline workers. So those are the ones that they are apprehensive to see what will happen. It's like a wait and see what will happen in the next 2 weeks when the next ship comes in, because it's one ship every 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, all right.
I think in general, pretty much most of our guides see the benefit of getting vaccinated, but you know, there's always a few that have questions. Some of them are very, they're not very trustful of the government and the whole vaccine process. And I feel personally that there are other creative ways that can be explored to help to encourage others to get vaccinated. A lot of them that are not vaccinated do not necessarily feel comfortable or willing to get tested every 2 weeks. So that's been the sentiment. Some of them don't want to get vaccinated. That's their choice, but they don't want to get tested every 2 weeks as well. So I think that there's more that can be done to encourage those to get vaccinated, those who have not. And I think we need to find more creative ways than just, if you haven't get vaccinated, then get tested every 2 weeks. That's kind of very rough and very hard, and especially if you're going to have to pay for that. So if we can find more creative way, maybe a better educational campaign, let people see the benefit of it, then we might be able to get a better response for those who are holding out, hesitant to get the vaccine.
Yeah. Do tourists ask you if you...
choice,
Sorry. I was going to ask you if the tourists have asked you all, as guides, whether you're vaccinated.
Yes.
I have not received that question personally.
Really?
They have never asked me if I've been vaccinated. I have mentioned it a few times to some of the guests. I've done several trips, but they've never come out and asked, have you been vaccinated? What they will ask is, how's COVID in the country? And then I would explain the vaccination and the process and how it's rolled out. And what they will say outright is that they've been vaccinated. So they're willing to share that information, and I think that after I've explained that the front line in personnel working in tourism, I think majority of us will be vaccinated if we've not already been to, because we see the benefit of it.
Was it you who said yes, Francisco, that you've been asked?
Well, they do have asked occasionally. Yes, I have been asked repeatedly by visitors concerning vaccination. They're curious and they want to know what's happening in beautiful Belize.
Have they asked you for proof or to show them your card, or have they?
No, they are satisfied with knowing that we have done our part in preparing for their return visits. You see, so I don't think anyone is going to make up having been vaccinated when they're not. But yes, they don't need proof. They don't need proof. They are happy to know that we have done all that we possibly can to prepare for their return visit to our beautiful country. Yes, very important.
All right. Well, I know you got to get ready to head out on tour. Those buses should be arriving very soon. Just describe to us, does today feel different and why?
It is a very special day. It's the first day that we're getting back what we have been missing for the last 12, 14 months. Our guides were kept very busy before COVID, and hopefully sooner than later, it is all going to start coming back to normal. And that's what we're seeing. We had to do fundraisings and a lot of different stuff. We have a team of board members that are more than willing to do their part to see to it that our association kept afloat. And we've done it. We've survived, and we're ready to show the world and our visitors that Belize is actually ready for their return visit. Yes.
All right.
Well, Andy, Francisco, Eusebio, thank you guys so very much. Congratulations on the wonderful work that you've been doing, and continue to be great ambassadors for our country. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank
Best
you as
of
well
luck.
for having us.
And stay safe.
Stay safe indeed. Marlene, and we could hear the happiness in your voices, because it is a great day for them today and all the tour operators across the country. We're about to take a break, though. When we come back, we'll be meeting a wife and husband and wife duo. They've been doing some great work in the Ladyville area. They'll tell you more about that when we come back.
This COVID update was brought to you by Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service. Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor, and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky, and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Infinite Health presents Common Sense Herbs, everything your body needs, and are all natural, dairy-free, non-GMO, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and are FDA monitored. Everything your body needs. Distributor in Belize, Infinite Health, Birdseye, Belize City. Telephone number 613-1914. That's 613-1914.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Hola, Tony.
Hey, Kevin, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué pasa?
Nada, le vine a buscar porque necesito comprar más mercancías de vasos y platos desechables para mi tienda de comestible. Me estoy quedando sin esas cosas.
No, hombre, fíjate que desde el 15 de abril no puedo importar nada de eso. Y se me acaba de terminar todo lo que tenía hace como 3 semanas.
Oye, pero nunca has estado sin esas cosas. ¿Qué está pasando?
Mira esto. Esta es la nueva ley que prohíbe todo el uso de plásticos no reutilizables. Esos son vasos, platos, cucharas, tenedores, todo eso. Desde 15 de abril de este año no he podido importar nada de eso. A partir del 15 de enero del 2021 nadie puede fabricarlo. 15 de abril 2021 nadie lo puede vender. Y a partir del 14 de julio del 2021 si alguien te agarra con eso, te multan.
Híjole, no sabía eso. Necesito cambiar algunas cosas. Les diré a mis clientes por qué esas cosas ya no están disponibles. Gracias, Antonio.
Así es, cuídate.
That's the sound of fuel efficiency. Every day, every time, I choose Una Fuels powered with Dynamax. Una, a brand committed with the future.
Smart continues to expand its internet coverage countrywide to help you live a smarter life.
Our villagers are very happy. They are pleased to know that Smart went the extra mile to put a tower in our village so that our villagers can get live stream on their TVs and they can get their kids doing their online classes. I want to say to Smart, thank you for making it possible for us to get internet in Gardenia Village. We really do appreciate it.
Smart continues to take the internet and mobile services to communities across Belize. Now save even more when you bundle your Smart broadband with Smart mobile services. Smart, bringing people together.
We're back, just like that, we're back, and we're moving now into our second segment for the morning. And in this segment, we're about to chit-chat with a husband and wife duo, a wife and husband duo, and they've been doing some great work there in Ladyville. They've got a page called Ladyville Highlights. What do they do with Ladyville Highlights? Well, let's meet the Magdalenos. We're talking Albert Magdaleno, no stranger to the cameras. And his wife, Fiona Magdaleno. Guys, good morning and welcome. You guys are the founders of Ladyville Highlights. Good morning and welcome.
Morning, guys. Morning, Marlene. Morning.
John.
John.
There you go.
Yes,
there you
boss.
go.
You know, you were just here for the Father's Day special, and
Yeah.
I told you I'm a big fan of your work. So
Appreciate
hearing the story behind what got you guys here is really interesting.
Yeah.
So you both are residents of in Ladyville, and you no?
I need to correct you.
Yeah. Yeah.
We don't only do work in Ladyville,
Yes.
it is countrywide.
Well,
it
there we
started
go.
in Ladyville.
It started in Ladyville. Yeah.
Started there.
All right, so let's talk
So
about
what happened. What made you two decide, hey, let's put this page together and try to find positive content to push out? Actually, what happened, it started with myself.
Okay.
When it started, I haven't met her as yet. So it started when I was at home, sitting home, and, you know, scrolling through Facebook, and you start to see a whole lot of negativity. You start to see people that fight, people that quarrel, nudity. But everything is nothing inspiring.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure if you guys are religious, but I heard as if though it was daylight. Nice and clear, a soft whisper in my ear. I heard it, no lie. Why don't you create a page, call it Ladyville Highlights. You will feature all the poor people who are trying to sell their powder bun, their fudge, their tableta, their Johnny cakes. He said, you can get these people to get sales.
Yeah.
They are struggling.
Yeah.
You will also don't include no politics in it, and you will see how much I will bless you and how many people I will bless through you. That's it. Now, That's were it. you somebody who loved being online? Like, did you, because running a page is a lot of work too.
Yeah.
People don't know that. Yeah. So did you know how to get it started, or was just that the spark was there and you went with it? Seriously, the spark was there, and every day I played with it. New ideas came to my thoughts, and it came like random.
Really?
And it came in such a way that I couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
Because after I created the page, and I started to feature every day, I featured like 3 or 5 or more. Because and the thing was that I had an advantage because when I started it in Ladyville, I was the mailman for Ladyville for over 14 years.
Oh.
So I have a thorough knowledge
You know
of everybody in Ladyville.
Yeah.
I sit down and I listen to their stories.
Yeah.
I hear how they started their business. So I ask about questions about business that exists in the past. And so I have all this information in my head. I decided, you know what? Let me put it out there, there.
Yeah.
But then it really blew up after I got married to my wife, Fiona.
Well.
That's when it blew up because she said, why only help people in Ladyville? There are poor people all over the place. There are poor people in all districts of this country, Belize.
Yeah.
And I said, girl, you think we could do that? And she said, yes, try it. And we did it. And the following day, right? The following day, a call came from Blackman Eddie. A young man asked for help. He had his kids with some skin issues.
Oh, wow.
And we were able to help him.
Yeah.
We were able to get him the support he needed. And from there, it took off.
Fiona.
Took off.
Tell us your
yeah. This
perspective,
is before we. This is inspiration at its best. And he highlighted that when my wife got involved, or when I met her, it actually went on a boom. Fiona, talk to us about it. Tell us the story.
Well, sitting there listening to him and watching him work the page, I told him, I say, because I used to go with him in Ladyville a lot, right? And so I told him, I say, you know something? You shouldn't just be doing this in Ladyville.
Yeah.
Let us do it countrywide. When he asked me, do you think we could do that? I tell him, don't worry about it. I will help you.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I will do the logistics behind the scene. Don't worry about it. You just highlight and you do that part, and I will do the other part.
Yeah.
I will come up with the other ideas. And these ideas aren't just our ideas.
Yeah.
These were inspirational ideas from God.
Wow.
Because we pray a lot. Before we do anything, we pray about it.
Before we create a story of any individual, we would normally pray about it.
and we ask God that this person needs help. So what we want you to do, we create the story, I word it, and then we left the rest to God, and that's how the help comes.
You know, it's so interesting what you have done, because, and I'm sure you found that once you started putting out, it started with highlighting people in the community, and then it moved to helping people who needed help.
Right.
But you realize that once you open that door, it's like it just bursts open afterwards.
Yes.
Everybody comes to you with ideas and persons and help this one and show this one. What was that like for you from your end when you realized that you were seeing just a small percent of the amount of people who need and the amount of people who've been doing good? When you started receiving, tell me.
Could you repeat that?
What was it like when you started receiving all these suggestions?
Okay. The volume was a lot. And because we have our full-time jobs and we're full-time parents, we find that we go to sleep late at night, because that's when we read these messages. And then we try to take the most important one, like the most, I mean, everybody feels that their story is urgent.
Everybody want help.
So what we do, we try to see the life and death stories, and those are the ones we try to pick out first. Then we deal with the others behind. We had to pray about that, because sometimes you do get tired, we're not machines.
That's true.
And so we pray about it, and I don't know where the strength comes from, it just comes.
So how many subscribers to the page do you guys have?
Well, Facebook allows you to have 5,000, but what I did, I started to suggest to people that they need to follow. So we have over 22,000 followers of the page, and it's been seen as far as Africa. We get calls as far as Africa. We get calls from Canada, Belizeans in Canada, in the UK, all of the US. There are some parts of US I didn't even know Belizeans there. I would say, oh, me never know where Olivia too. Yes, so they see it, they are inspired, and they want to contribute, they want to help. What we have found out is that a lot of Belizeans who are privileged to have left Belize, and they have lived wonderful lives in the States. They have excellent jobs in different fields, different careers, and they have tried to give back to their country through relatives or friends, but it don't work. Because when they send them barrel, y'all may help any picnic thing, they don't do it, they keep it for themselves or they sell it. I've had a story of a guy who sent a barrel for some stuff to be given away, and he made a surprise trip. And when you look, you see if he barrel a market, the people that they sell the thing there. So when they came across our page and they see that we are fair, we are transparent in what we do, then they decide, you know what, we are cut them off, we are work through you guys. And so their boxes and barrels and clothes, diapers, kids' footwear, male and female footwear, adults' clothes, practically anything that they think Belizeans can use here at home, they send to us, and we give it away free. Medications, whatever, free. We don't charge for anything.
And we do deliveries at times.
On a motorcycle.
And that's,
On a motorcycle.
On a motorcycle.
On a cycle. I'm the trunk.
There it is. Right there, actually.
Yeah, see the trunk there? Yeah, so that's how we do deliveries.
But tell me, what's it been like as a family? You have children, and they're watching you, you know, just really taking a whole different approach from how people interact in this country. You chose to do something positive, and you're following it through all the way. What's it been for the family?
We add the children to it.
Yeah.
From time
get them
to time,
involved.
Yeah, from time to time, because we only have a cycle, what I would do is stay at home and do the logistics behind, and then I would tell him to take one of the girls. Like, we had a time when they went and picked up bread and bun, and they went to feed the homeless. So I sent my second youngest daughter, I sent her out with him to do the distribution. That is in an effort to have them appreciate life and what life has to offer, and to see how people are living out there so that they don't take things for granted. So that's what we do. We incorporate them into what we're doing.
So, and what do they say when they get home?
Sometimes they're emotional. Sometimes they cry. Sometimes they're sorry for people, you know, to see that people are living in that manner. But we try to do all of them. We try to, every so often I would send one of them with him to do it. So they see what we're seeing.
And how often do you guys make deliveries?
Every day we're on the
Almost
move.
every day.
Really?
So after
Every
we
day.
finish our regular jobs, then in the evening we go
Both
and
public servants, I have to say that much.
When we are finished working, we go and we pick up stuff that people have sent to us, or we go and we deliver diapers, because we do adult diapers for a lot of elderly folks who are bedridden.
Yeah.
And there are many. There are many elderly folks in Belize who are bedridden, can't get out the bed, can't walk, can't ask for help, and so they can't even afford to buy the Pampers, the diapers. A pack
And they're
of diapers.
very expensive.
I just was going to say that. You're looking like almost 18 or more dollars for a pack. Just one pack that brings like 10. And these people use them fast, because remember now, this is whenever they go out, they need to change it.
You need to change it, and they're not able to leave their beds.
They can't leave.
No.
When we met one of our stories that made international news, the one with Maria and Naomi, the 12-year-old girl, she said she was using plastic bag.
Oh my God.
Because she didn't have any.
I'm so glad, that was one of the stories. Man, it was hard to read, to watch, to think about. What is it, when you start to get these stories like this, and I think you said before, you look for the ones, because there's so many, that are life and death. But when you get stories like Maria, or when you get the other ones where you realize how great the need is for the community, what's it like for you?
For me,
Let's leave the mouth open, but
For
I know,
me-
but she talk first.
for me, when we get stories like that, I would have to step back, because it put me into tears. So I would have to step back, deal with my emotion, and then go back into the story. So if I need to cry, I cry. Whatever I need to do, I do it. I pray, ask God for strength, and then I go back into the story.
For me, what people don't see behind the cell phone, because we don't have a cameraman like you guys have, a nice big cameraman and a tripod and all of that. But what people don't see is that when I'm holding that phone, a tear falls on my eye, especially in Maria's case. And then when I met Mr. Miller is a man with a huge bed sore. Mr. Miller had a bed sore so huge, when he moved his hip, you could see the bone shoot out. You see the bone shoot out. So it was first time I seen that. And when I saw that, I was torn up. And I find my strength when I leave Mr. Miller's house. I go straight up the road to, what is the place name? What is the church name?
The Catholic Church by Brody's.
It's the only church that is open to the public. You could go in and pray. Well, because I know it's the only church that is open that you can go in and pray, I go in there alone. I fall on my knees and I talk to God and say, God, these people need help. Because it's emotional for me. I literally get weak. I mean, to see a man bone come out, you say, Marlene, it's cringe. And that raw flesh.
And the pain he must
and nobody to his side. And so
you take these stories and you put it out to the community so you can get help. After you've dealt with the emotional feeling of recognizing that this is happening to someone, you also get the flip side, where you see communities and private sector and individuals and many who are anonymous come out and say, I want to help me help. Tell me about that other side.
That is interesting, because when people see the help comes, what they don't know is that the help comes from ordinary people. The people who are helping us aren't politicians. First of all, they aren't rich. They don't own no business. It's a regular lady in New York, in Chicago, in Atlanta, in New Jersey, who goes to do house cleaning, or who does, nurse aid. These people take from the little money they receive because they feel inspired to give back to Belize and Belizeans. Right?
Because for many of them, that was the goal, having to leave their country, and they want to help.
Give back. We receive donations from the Ladyville market.
Yes, people who sell food.
A regular woman in the market will sell dinner, cook your food and sell the dinner. You say, Mr. Albert, come for $100 to help so and so. I see the store and I'm touched by it.
Yeah.
So an ordinary Creole woman who sell dinner, what kind of profit did they make? To be able to give from that little bit.
$100 too.
$100, yeah, to give from that little bit to help somebody else in need. Those things are inspiring, man.
Working people as well would call us and tell us to stop by my work. I have probably $50 or $100 to give towards it.
Or a tablet for a child who needs a tablet.
Yeah.
You know, so it's ordinary people. Now, if the people who have the dollars would help, oh my goodness, you imagine what we could do?
That's true.
And what I find interesting, and now it makes sense since you say that it's just everyday
Regular folks.
Belizeans.
Yeah.
Because it's never been something where people are kind of asking for promotion to say, here I am delivering or helping or doing things. I know sometimes you do because you have that obligation from people who sent you, but not that often.
We have one isolated case that I was very impressed with. She went to purchase her pants for work because she got transferred.
All the secrets, you
You get transferred from Belmopan to Belize City, so she had to use this kind of pants. And the only place had it was Tropicana on Albert Street.
I went to beg for discount.
So she went to beg for discount. Then she tell them, he says, hey, look, he said, we could feature you guys on our page.
Yes,
and then they started to see what you do, and the lady called us 2 days after and says...
I also made a promise to them. I told them, because I was doing the case of the London Bridge, and I was putting the young lady son into school. And so the only thing that was left for me to do is get his uniform. And so when I went there, I told the lady that if you give me a discount, I would buy uniform for this child from you. And so I told her, I say, what I'm doing is to help this child. And I started to explain to her what we did. And so one of the workers heard what I was explaining, and she told the lady, say, yes, she said they help a lot of people. We follow their page. And so what she did when I left the place, she pulled up most of the stories, and she gave the Indian lady and had her check through all the stories. And after that, we got a phone call, of which they gave us a box of uniform shirts.
Wow.
Brand new. And a box of John Sport school bag. Not any school bag, John Sport.
Yes.
To distribute.
One whole box. I like, what?
Yes.
Indian.
We were surprised.
I'm just, I feel like I'm on an emotional roller coaster talking to you because we hear about the real challenges, then we hear about people helping. And that's your daily life.
Yes.
You're getting really sad, desperate stories at times. And then at the flip side, you get really inspiring actions by Belizeans or things taking place. So it's got to be a really interesting ride for both of you.
It is.
It is.
You know, and that's I want to hear more about that. The emotional roller coaster that you guys go through on a daily basis. What is that like for you? Not many people are able to actually mentally deal with that. How do you deal with it?
God. God and prayers.
It also speaks volumes of the amount of people who are suffering silently.
Yes.
A lot of people are taking a licking, but they don't say anything. It is when that they can't take it anymore, their back is against the wall, that but Mr. Albert, I have no other choice but to come to you.
People would say that when we're featuring stories, that we're stepping on people's pride. Putting their story out there in that condition. But if we sit and watch and wait and worry about pride, people won't get help and they won't live. So sometimes we have to set our pride aside. And what we try to do with our page is that we don't tolerate negativity. So if you want to negatively comment, then we ask you just leave it, ignore the story. Don't negatively comment, because everybody is going through something and everybody needs help. So we don't condone negativity.
One of our most recent emotional stories was 2 weeks ago. I got a visit by a young lady, Nicole, 29-year-old, and she had stage 3, going on to stage 4
cancer, cervical cancer.
Cervical cancer. When they brought her to me, she came in our car. Her friends brought her to me. So when they brought her to me, she was thin. I mean, extremely thin
Yeah.
from the regular person she was.
Yeah.
And she said something that was very touching. He said, I know I'll die.
Mm.
I know I'll die. He
At
said, because
29.
I can't come back from this.
Mhm.
Last week, Thursday, while I was on the bus to go to the embassy, I got a call that she passed away. She took her last breath.
Oh, wow.
And she passed away. Now she only has one child. She's the only child of her mother. And now her mother has to raise her 3-year-old daughter.
Wow.
And because I made the story 2 weeks before, the story was still being seen by people in abroad, in Cayman. As a matter of fact, I received donation for her from a lady in St. Lucia. And I said, Mom, the young lady died.
She passed away, yes.
He said, oh my. He said, well, take the money and give it to the granny. So the granny can assist the child. Yeah, that is left alive.
I have a question.
And these are all poor people, you know.
Yeah.
Poor people.
Is there a balance between folks who are suffering and folks who want to help? Because what I'm getting from you guys is that you're getting a lot of people who want to help, but they probably don't have an avenue. What are your thoughts? Do we have a lot of people who really want to help?
Yes, we do have a lot of people who really want to help. So just that sometimes some of them don't have resources.
Yeah.
So what we do, we tell them that if you don't have finance to help, or you have little things in your house that can help another person, then we would accept it and distribute it.
Yeah.
Or if it is that we're doing probably a giveaway, like for example, we did a big giveaway Saturday. We would take those same people and use them as volunteers.
Oh.
So if you don't have finance, it doesn't matter. Any other way that you want to help, we allow you to help.
So it's what? How long now? 2 years? 3 years?
It started in 2017.
Okay.
December,
wow, much longer.
December of 2017.
And
the
boom is in 2018.
No.
The boom is in 2018.
2018. But it really exploded. Yeah, during the pandemic.
Yeah, 2019. That's what.
2019 2020 during the pandemic, when it first came to Belize. Belizeans abroad were already facing the pandemic in the States.
Yeah.
While we were just getting hit with the pandemic. And so what had happened with the donations started pouring then during after March 2020. Because the first donation I received was from a nurse, a Belizean Jamaican nurse, Francine. She was in New York. And she said, man, the pandemic, the Belize was almost like lockdown. And a lot of people were saying, I got no money, things bad. Imagine, you lose a job because of the pandemic. You never had no job before, so you just get additionally worse. So she said, I'll send you $300. See how many people you can feed or buy groceries out of this 300 Belize. So what I did, I went to one of my friends in Ladyville, Carlos Alameda. He had a store. If I get the meat from, they call me, give it she ham, but they give me a long meat. But anyway, I give away ham for Christmas. Yeah. But back to what I already say. So Carlos says, all right, listen to me. I like what you're doing. I'm going to work with you. Give me the $300, and then we'll try to put back at least 10 or more bags that is equivalent to the amount of money you gave me.
Yeah.
And then we'll go and distribute. And I identified 10 families that were very in need of groceries.
Yeah.
We identified those people, and we gave it to them. And when I posted that up, other Belizeans said, well, I want to do the same thing too.
Yeah, I want to do something.
And right, so we start, because we copycat, you know.
Yeah.
We like Falafoot.
Yes.
Right? So other Belizeans started to repeat the same thing. They started to send their donations for us to help.
The second time was better though. Yeah. The second time was better because when we got the second money, we went to another businessman in Ladyville.
Kenny, a regular Belizean now.
And he told us, he said, okay, how much money do you have? He said, we only had $250 then. Okay. He said, okay, you give me the $250. How much bags did you want? So we said we were trying to make at least 10 bags. He said, we are do better than that. We are adding 5 more bags to that. He said, every bag, what we put together, we will give you the equivalents to every bag. and I want to put the extra for me and my family.
From his
and
stuff, from his store.
The bags were so much that 2 bags had to tie together.
Yeah.
To make, yes, because he put extra. So we didn't pay for meat.
Yeah.
He put in meat, he put in sausage, he put in other things that we couldn't pay for.
You know, it's
and took us to deliver these bags in his vehicle.
The cycle can't do it.
And the trunk can't hold it.
No.
The trunk can't hold so much.
But I'm just thinking, you know, there's also, it's still called Ladyville Highlights, and we must say that you moved beyond Ladyville a long time. But it's also something that I know people who live in Ladyville are still very proud about, and I'm hearing you tapping into the business community there too.
Yes, we do.
I know my good friend, I came about the page, and my good friend Charmaine
Garcia.
Yes, was the one who put it out, and because you were showing people who were just making a move in a positive way from your same community. Do you still incorporate that? Do you still find the little powder bun lady, or
we still do,
and ensure that you could highlight them too?
You see, I would be riding my motorbike, and I see people say they have a bunch of pear front and then they want to sell.
Yeah.
When you know they get sale, people go on a certain look.
Yeah.
Sluggish,
sad. That's so true.
Nobody want to buy me pear, nobody want to buy me dukuno.
Mangoes and
stuff.
stuff.
And so I try to put myself in these people's shoes.
Yeah.
How you want to feel if you know you don't make all that dukuno, I can't find nobody to buy it. You basically want to buy dukuno? I don't know dukuno. So I say, you know what? I buy one dukuno. I taste one. Yes, man, it's rich. It tastes good. You know, it's the best dukuno I ever eat. And because I know the mentality of our people, why Albert said that dukuno tastes good. So you know what? Albert, if I buy dukuno, when later wrong so, and next thing you know, people start rush the dukuno. So when I pass back now, like the lady front of Skies supermarket to sell dukuno and tamales, he said, what you do? He said, no, everybody stop and buy my dukuno. Everybody want me tamales. Because it is the way how you, that the way how I said the thing, right? I never got a no marketing college or marketing university, but I know if you put it out there like that, the best dukuno, like how you have said parts on your commercials, So I say, well, if John could do it, I could do it too. Then dukuno will sell off.
You genuinely do it.
But
Because
what is it? Why do you think you have this? It sounds to me like you both have an innate desire to just help people. I mean, you pass somebody who's doing low with sales. There's probably somebody 2 blocks up who also did the bad with sales. But you stop and you try to do something.
For some reason, I just sense it.
You? Why do you think this is something that you're drawn to do?
Because there was a time when I made a struggle too. Thank God I have a post office job and employment. God is good that even while the pandemic was on, they still keep us. We get a leave by total pay, but I still got a job. And I'm grateful for it. So I put myself in their shoes. The people I just say, imagine if I make 20 dukuno and I carry back home 19. I failed. I failed because I never sell those dukuno that I'm planning to bring home money to feed my children and my family. What am I going to tell these kids when I come home? Mommy, how your dukuno gone today? Y'all only sell 1 dukuno. So if you can relate to what people go through, then you see it differently. You see, you get to understand that, hey, the struggle is real, and people, if you could give them some push, I call it one jump start. You know, you go to the mechanic, you want a jump start, and you're good to go.
a friend give you a jump start.
And you're good to go. What we do, when we feature these poor people, these dukuno people, the Creole bread lady, we give them a jump start. And from there, they need to maintain that consistency in the quality of the product they produce.
Of course.
Otherwise, you'll lose your customers.
Do you have one story that if people were to ask you that you will always remember what took place behind the scenes, what would that be?
I have this story of an elderly couple that we had a lady came to us and she said, I came to ask for some Pampers for an elderly couple. And she said, but I want you guys to go and see this couple. Firstly, we didn't go to see the couple, My husband did a post for him, and the family went off. And so he took down the post, and the lady came back. Like it was a constant nag. She came back. He said, I need you to go to this couple's house. I need you to go to this couple's house. So we said, man.
Let's go.
We put off making supper and we decided to go and take the leave walk. And when we got there, we saw this man in a chair lying down, cannot walk. His elderly wife, he's 75, his wife is 70. They only them live in that house. The lady has a panade shop. She tries to make stuff to sell, but sometimes she only makes $1.50 for that entire day. And she would say, well, she would make, you know, get orange, make juice and that way they would drink and go sleep because they don't have to eat. So sitting there listening to that story, my husband told them about, you know, the fact that he had to take down the story because of the family. The man said, no, put up back my story. He asked for the story to be placed back. Not knowing that night, he told us one of his things that he likes is to eat balkan. So we put up back, we did the live right there, we put up back the story, and while walking through that door, I was walking behind him, and I had the last $10 in my pocket to buy bread. And I say, you know something? I'll give this man this $10. I don't know what made me give it to him. I took my last $10 and I gave it to him, and I say, you know something, I just need when I go home, need flour when I go home. So at least the lady could run around the lane and go hurry get something at the shop. And I left. 2 days later, we went back with Pampers and a little bit of groceries, and I think $100.
They may send money for you.
They may send money for like $250. So what I did, I bought Pampers from the $50, and I took the change and gave it to him and his receipt to show him that they sent $250 for you. I know you needed Pampers, so I stopped and I bought that. And this is your receipt and this is your change. And the man touched my husband and say, oh, no, that $10 no give me the other night. And I run out of aspirin for 2 weeks. You see how my wife run and buy it.
Out of the $10.
So I give you money for buy Balkan. And you bought aspirin. So that story really stands out. It shows that he needed something other than what he wanted, and so he went for what he needed first. So that story stands out.
I am sure we could go all day with these stories, and I am, you know, and this is just one of the reasons we encourage people to go to your page. I've always wanted to hear the backstory about your work because it's a passion that's very evident by what you do because you put a lot of time into it as well. So definitely keep up the great work. Thank you for telling us about why you did it and, you know.
And how you're doing it.
Yeah.
We want to give thanks to the people, the local people here who gives and donates. Thanks to all of them. But most of all, we want to thank the shipping agents in the States because Seabreeze Shipping and Joseph Freight Shipping have teamed up.
Also AIM from New York.
And AIM Shipping in Chicago. They see what we do and they says, listen, Mr. Albert, this is what we're going to do. We're going to put a barrel in front of our store marked Ladyville Highlights. On the barrel marked Ladyville Highlights. Any Belizeans in Chicago or Los Angeles who want to drop in one peanut butter or put a cooking oil in the barrel are free to do so. And we will send, when the barrel is filled, we will send that barrel to you, Mr. Albert, and you distribute to those in need. So we appreciate these guys in Chicago. We're still waiting for somebody in New York to do the same for us and Miami. Because we have Belizeans in Miami and New York who want to give too. But it's so costly to ship a barrel to Belize that's 150 US. And while like I said, some of our people want to help, some of them naturally don't have the money to pay to ship a barrel to Belize. So these shipping agents have teamed up with us to allow them to drop their items in the barrel and it comes free to us.
Doing their part.
And that's how they feel like they are giving back as well.
To end off, I must say that we don't only help in Belize. We help people in St. Vincent.
Oh, and Jamaica.
We help people in Jamaica.
Yeah.
Yes, Honduras. Yes.
Yeah.
Our class are all the way out there.
There indeed.
Amazing work. And you know, we're just lucky that your work day starts at 9 o'clock that we could have this
Yes.
conversation, right? Because you have to get to post office, you have to get to tax service.
Yeah.
But, you know, great job. Thank you for telling us your story. It really is inspiring and just reminds us that one idea, and especially if you want to plant a seed of good, can really take off and spread to others. So thank you for reminding us of that.
And
Albert,
prayers.
Yeah. Albert
Prayers.
and Fiona, you guys are truly inspirational to Belizeans. And of course to the world, like you did mention, because you've got claws everywhere.
God is good,
across
bro.
the world.
God is good.
Thank you guys. Man. Thank you.
All right.
You still have time to go make some eggs.
Yeah, you can go.
We'll take a break.
We got to take that break. When we come back, we'll be meeting a Belizean sensation. Sean Gill is going to join us this morning. He's going to Tokyo to represent Belize in the Olympics. Yes, and he'll tell us about that when we come back.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
With the touch of a finger, we can easily unlock our phones and securely gain access to our data. This technology is called biometrics, and the Social Security Board is introducing fingerprint recognition to make transactions and handling of your sensitive data secure, fast, accurate, and convenient. Is your identity safe? Fingerprint recognition will keep your Social Security record secure and confidential while making your access fast and easy. It protects your identity. Is your name a common one? Fingerprint recognition uses your unique characteristics, ensuring your hard-earned benefits go directly to you, the rightful owner. Tired of all the paperwork? Fingerprinting makes this hassle-free. Your convenience and your information security is our priority. Fingerprint recognition coming soon. Social Security at your fingertips.
It's a fact that with Smart, you get truly unlimited everything. Only with Smart, you get unlimited data anytime. While with the other guy, it's only double data on weekends. With unlimited data every day with Smart, there's no need to wait. So, it's a fact that our unlimited plans beat the competition. Stop being measured and told when to use your data and get unlimited talk, text, and data. Experience the true unlimited plans with Smart. That's a fact. Make the switch and live smart.
Introducing Edam A Cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A Cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A Cheese at a supermarket near you. A Cheese, exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
Working off-site doesn't mean you have to be off your game. Studies have shown that simply adding a keyboard and mouse to your laptop increases productivity by 26%. Add a monitor and you'll be 35% more productive. At Fulltech Systems, we have what you need to enhance your remote work or e-learning experience. With devices such as headsets, video conferencing monitors, webcams, keyboards, mice, docking stations, all with the brands you trust. Keep connected with collaboration tools like Microsoft 365 Suite and Kaspersky and perform efficiently no matter where you are. Fulltech Systems, your technology center, where you'll come for the price, but stay for the service.
Infinite Health presents Common Sense Herbs, everything your body needs, and are all natural, dairy-free, non-GMO, cruelty-free, gluten-free, and are FDA monitored. Everything your body needs. Distributor in Belize, Infinite Health, Birdseye, Belize City. Telephone number 613-1914. That's 613-1940.
As one of the largest cable and internet providers in Belize, CBC strives to provide our customers with the highest standards of quality, value, and service in all aspects of cable TV and internet. Monitoring our systems closely, our technicians combine creative planning and state-of-the-art technology with years of experience and training to develop and provide the most reliable and advanced cable and internet service to exceed your expectations. For CBC and our team of talented engineers, technicians, and customer service representatives, delivering less than the very best is never an option.
Welcome back to Open Your Eyes. We're moving now into our third and final segment for the morning. And in with us, we actually have Sean Gill. Now, why is Sean here? Sean is going to represent Belize at the Olympics. That's where he's going. Sean, good morning.
Morning.
And welcome, my brother.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Sean, you're going on the biggest stage to compete. We're talking the Olympics, and your discipline is?
The 100-meter dash.
100-meter dash. This is what you seen on a crowd. Oh my goodness. What is the emotions like right now? How are you feeling?
Well, right now the excitement still the bill. Definitely what helps is, the fact that yes, I was selected, but also all the messages pouring in.
Yeah.
It's really getting me excited and making me feel even more proud to represent Belize, because everybody is waiting to see me,
Yeah, that's true. Talk about your selection process. You didn't have to beat a few people to actually be a part of this. What was the selection process like for you?
Well, given that the sport's still relatively small within Belize, what they do, they track the performances over time.
Okay.
As we were talking earlier, I told you I've been running couple races since last year, right? Because the season spans over a year. So they just track the performances and see how you're running throughout the year, and based off your performance, they know, okay, well, obviously you're the best, or you're better than this guy, that guy, or so that's how we do it.
So tracking performance is how you now will be representing Belize in the 100 meters in Tokyo, Japan.
Yep.
You gotta tell us, when you found out you were gonna go, the Olympics is every athlete's biggest dream. And especially in athletics.
Yeah.
What's it like when you found out I'm gonna be at the Olympics?
I don't know if you can see me smile on my mask, but
I was tempted to take it off, but
this is a reason why we run. From a small we run. I grew up right out of Belize City, so I only moved that state a while ago. But from just running around the block, the playground, Wesley College Sports Day. This is a reason why we run. So it just for me, it's still kind of surreal in the sense that I just kind of pick up this sport just randomly, and because I'm going to play football first way back in the day. And it just turned out to this now, to the Olympic stage. So I never really imagined that I may actually get there. sometimes you dream, but you don't really know if the dream will come true. So if you actually see it materialize now, that crazy feeling.
But so from Yabra Green was your first Olympic sprint. But that's how we start in Belize, in one of our neighborhood spots. So I mean, you were telling me before you feel like you're not really sinking as yet.
Yeah.
The announcement has been out. I'm sure you've been training. Do you feel the weight or the pressure yet of wearing Belize on your back?
Well, there is always pressure, and I mean, they're not exactly the first time I represent Belize, but as athletes too, we have to try our best to not make the pressure get to you.
Yes.
You know, because that alone could, cause you to lose focus, but there is pressure, you just have to try your best to block it out.
Yeah.
So what's training like now?
Yeah.
Is there a difference between training for a regional competition and, I mean, what's the mindset that you put yourself into gear for now?
So the training stays relatively the same. I mean, it's always hard and brutal, but what changes, like you just said, is the mindset, because certain races you can just look at and say, okay, well, this is just one, and whatever happens, I'll be here again next year or next week. This one is once every 4 years, and that's if you're selected. So the mindset is definitely more focused and more tuned in, and preparing to go.
You have your best time. Tell us about your best time. What's your best time, and then we'll go from there.
So officially 10.55 seconds over 100 meters.
Over 100 meters.
Yeah.
10.55 seconds.
That's
the
fast.
thing about the 100 meters that people don't know. It is
quick. It's a quick thing.
Sean, I gotta take you back to one of my favorite moments. And one of my favorite moments ever since I've worked on television was 2012 Olympics, when Kaina Martinez beat her first heat.
Yeah.
I have never, I mean, that was just like an overwhelming pride all over this country because,
for sure.
It wasn't the actual race, but it's like getting through those heats is like the steps to go.
Yeah.
Did you remember that? Have you seen that?
Yes, and I mean, actually, Kaina is a good friend of mine, and the thing is, Kaina is like one of those athletes where, you have one every certain amount of generation, just naturally gifted, just born to do it, maybe she put in minimal training or maximum training, but just still could just go out there and just do it, and she had the right mindset too, the mindset, the killer instinct mindset to just go out there and know that everybody at the line is equal. So I could beat you just as you could beat me, and I think that was her greatest skill.
Exactly where I'd like to go.
I just want to say that her first Olympic sprint was in Hopkins football field, right?
On the sun.
Best place.
Exactly where I'd like to go, Sean, but something else. And then where I'd like to go, my brother. So now you're at 10.55 or 10.50, somewhere around there with your heat, your best time. You actually are going to school in the United States. There'll be some of these guys competing there. What are your thoughts there, knowing that, I am actually participating with the best of the best, and I know that I'll meet some of these guys that I always do it with. What are your thoughts?
Well, I mean, also I'm looking forward to seeing them, competing with them. It's always a challenge in terms of, removing friendship and rivalry at the line, because when we get on the track, we have to be enemies, But yes, as you said rightly, I will see some of them. Some of them I've seen already out and about, competing for their country in different events, but I'm looking forward to racing and competing just as much as they are.
When was your last race?
We just got back from Costa Rica just like maybe 2 weeks ago. So
okay. What was that like for you?
It was, I mean, it's one of the competitions that we go every year, so it's kind of a familiar feeling. We didn't get, as a team, we didn't get the best result because we've had better in the past, but I mean, a lot of factors contribute to that, but it was a good competition.
If you to say on a range of 1 to 10 where you are physically in preparation, where are you now for your Olympic preparation?
Well, over the training, the last, I'd say, past year, I'm in some of the best shape of my life. So, I believe I'm ready, and we will continue to train. Regardless of how we feel now, we might think you're in the best shape now, but we still have to continue to train. And the funny thing is, when you feel like you're in good shape, that's when the training goes up. And then you're like, well, I think I'm ready.
Have you checked out your regional or Central American and Caribbean competition as yet?
Well, like I said, we just got back from one of those competitions, so I just seen most of those guys, and when I checked their Instagram and so, most of them are going to Tokyo as well. Sweet. So those are guys that I see every year, all the time. So I know their performances, I know what they're capable of. I mean, I know they're looking at me too as well, and So yes, they're going, and I am aware.
Yeah. What is your hope? I mean, you know that you have to compete in how many heats? Have you checked that out? How many heats you have to compete in order for you to get to like the biggest part of the Olympics?
Yeah, well, so you start with preliminary rounds, as you guys said, kind of made it through the rounds, and then you have the heats, as you were saying, and then from there you start going semifinals and finals. So you have to make it at least like 3 races to get to the actual stage.
Yeah.
You know.
Have you spoken to some of your rivals and say, you know what, I'm going to meet you guys there? Do they know that you're going?
Well, I guess they know mainly because of the posts on social media.
Yeah.
But aside from that, I don't do much talking with them when it comes to like the rivalry and actual racing. Like I don't do much talking. I prefer to leave it out there.
Yeah. Sean, take us back. You've been very clear in saying right now you're studying, you're on an athletic scholarship. So you're getting that exposure in the United States. But somebody born or raised in Belize going out to, you know, the biggest sporting competition in the world. You know, when you look back to the little boy who was running and playing football, you know, how do you use that as a message for other kids?
Well, I mean, you have to know what you want, right? And the thing is, like I said last night on the news, once you know what you want and you work for it, you put in the time and the dedication, eventually it has to pay out. You know, whatever it is you're trying to achieve, I mean, you'll get negative feedback, you'll get no's, you'll get closed doors, but you have to be willing to push it and you know, and even knock down barriers and doors, you know. It's always cliche to, like, you know, see it on the news or listen to some motivation on YouTube, but when it's reality, it's actually hard, you know. And being a small sport, I mean, when I say small compared to something like football or something, there's not a lot of like networking for you to like just like hop from one step to the next and say, okay, well, I'm a young boy in Belize and I want to run track and I'm going to States and studying. You know, it's not so clean cut, you know, so you have to stick at it, you know. You really have
so it's
to
like
stick at
one
it.
goal at a time for you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So Sean, when
Who
do
are
you
your
leave?
inspirations locally and internationally?
I mean, locally, I have 2 great inspirations, and I have to say Teresa Flores and Carla Martinez, because they've really taken it to heights, you know, internationally and regionally.
Pushing on their own.
Exactly, you know, so locally, definitely.
And internationally?
Internationally, I might get backlash for this because I don't know Usain Bolt, I know the Americans, Justin Gatlin, so I grew up watching, you know, and he made up on the scene before Usain Bolt, so you know that's how I start.
Yeah, well, nothing is wrong with that.
I mean, I can't take that Usain Bolt that the greatest, but for me, you know.
That's true. There are a lot of, and taking it to basketball, there are a lot of Belizeans who favor Michael Jordan, even though he's not in the sport again over LeBron James. You know, so I can totally understand where you're coming from, because Justin is definitely one of those. He's one of those killer athletes whereby you as much as he's old, like he's what, I think about 36, 37, somewhere around there, and he's still taking it out there.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's definitely a great role model to look at, to not be just finished there. When are you leaving to Tokyo?
Wait, what's your goal training time before? What's your goal for time in training?
Well, in training, we want to keep it around 10.5 just so that we know we're hitting the mark. We're hitting the mark so that when we actually get on the stage and with all the build up, you know, sometimes that in itself is a stimulation and influence. So then we know if we're hitting a certain time in training, then on the actual track we can go even faster.
Yeah.
I mean, because a short 10 seconds is it's all out exhilaration for that time. What's that like? You know, like how do you prep yourself for this rapid exertion of energy like that?
Man, and you know what? It's really funny because you literally have to train years and hours every day just to run 10 seconds. Like I don't even understand the science behind it, so, you know, but that's what it is. I mean, hours, 2 times a day. A maximum of a total of like 4 to 5 hours a day, and this is every day. Some people train 6 times a week. We train normally 5 times a week, but it's like all that just for 10 seconds, you know?
Or hopefully less.
Or less.
when you're leaving your not your heat, but the what's the name of the thing that you sprint from?
The blocks?
Yes. When you're leaving your block, at what point do you say, you know what, I got a good, or what is a good lead off?
Well,
because you know, and I'm saying this because you've seen where
like
these guys
fast
would
the
tell
whole way.
you know what, I didn't come out the block too good. I didn't feel too well coming out of the block. I was a little slow. How do you know that you've done it good there?
I would say, generally speaking, would be based off reaction. And when I say reaction, it's reaction to the gun. So the starter will shoot the gun, and based off how you react to that gun and your positioning off, like you see the guys next to you, then you figure out, okay, well, I'm a step behind, you know, or maybe I'm 2 steps behind, so that wasn't a good reaction. You know, because sometimes it's just like, to me, it's like perspective, because you actually get an actual feedback from the starter in terms of how quickly you reacted. But your reaction can be slow, but what if you were the first one out? You know, you won't look back and say, well, that was a bad start because you were the first one out. But if you're behind, then you look at it and say, well, you know, I didn't get out quick enough.
You hear the science there?
Well, I mean, I was just going to say he picked up on one of my favorite things, which is when you're in a race, you don't take time to look who's behind, right?
Exactly.
That's wasted energy and wasted time.
Yeah.
But I really appreciate what you're saying. Just tell me how much of that 10 seconds or less in those Olympic races will you say will boil back down to mental preparation?
Well, all of it. All of it. And I say all of it because you have to be mentally prepared before you step to the line. You know, so when you get to the line, it's only 10 seconds. You don't have time now to think and say, well, am I prepared or not? No, it's just time to go. You know, so all the mental preparation is leading up to the line. Once you get to the line, then it's just time to go. Because when 10 seconds goes, it's not like you're in a marathon where you're running and you can say, okay, well, I need to change my strategy. You know, it's 10 seconds and it's done, win or lose, you know?
Wow.
Is that why you love sprinting? It's just like an all-out moment?
I guess I just love the explosiveness and you know, just being fast, you know?
So can I ask now, when are you leaving?
Next week Saturday, we leave on Saturday, next week Saturday. Yeah, so we fly from Belize to LA and then LA to Tokyo, directly to Tokyo.
Wow.
Yeah. All right, you've been vaccinated and...
Yes, as we were speaking earlier, I got 1 shot Johnson & Johnson, so for me, I'm fully vaccinated, and that was some months ago, so...
Okay, so you're good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, Sean?
Best of luck.
Best of luck, my brother. We'll be watching. We'll be watching.
We'll be sending positive energy out to you and the other athletes as you head on out to represent us.
And we'll feature you, man. We'll feature because the first thing in the morning we talk about what happens in the news. It's going to be Sean Gill.
Yeah. Maybe we'll do a sprint and see, you know.
You like some people to competition here?
So I can watch.
But Sean, we wish you all the very best. It seems that you're prepared. You're going on the biggest stage, and you should know that you're an ambassador to the country.
Yes, sir.
And you'll have all 400 and something of us running along with you, my brother.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
Easy. Sean Gill, folks. Sean Gill going to Tokyo, Japan.
Olympian.
Yeah, Malaysian Olympian going to represent us in the Olympics in the 100-meter dash. Wow. We're about to take our final break in the morning. When we come back, we'll be wrapping things up. Stay with us. We'll be back.
Good morning, sweetie. It's time for school.
Are you a teacher or public sector employee who is thinking of owning your new home? Get the keys to your new home with Belize Bank's all-inclusive mortgage, the best financing option in Belize for your new home purchase or construction. Inclusive of all mortgage-related fees, no down payment, affordable terms, amazingly low interest rates. Visit our nearest branch to speak to one of our financial advisors to discuss how you can be one step closer to owning your new home. Some conditions apply.
Introducing Edam A cheese, the A+ Dutch cheese to hit the Belizean market. As the name says, it is of A-class quality, the best Dutch cheese in Belize. Edam A cheese is creamier, less salty, and simply more delicious. Don't be left out. Get your A cheese at a supermarket near you. A cheese exclusively distributed by Unitex Company Limited. Call us at 610-3626 or 610-8910. Follow us on Facebook at Unitex Belize.
Dwayne Moody, Isani Cayetano, Andrea Polanco, Paul Lopez. Your News 5 Belize teams do whatever it takes. Go wherever they need to go, so you can catch the story wherever you are, whenever you want, on whatever device. Channel 5 Belize on television, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Because news is now everywhere, all the time. And so are we.
Just like that, we've come to the end of our show for today, but we're receiving news that actually the VTB went live in terms of welcoming the passengers of the first cruise ship to touch in Belize. And there it is right there as we speak. These folks are actually coming off the first cruise ship after a few months, like what, 13, 14 months?
No, longer than that.
Longer than that, somewhere around 15 months, and they're now touching down in Belize. But what I'm seeing there, of course, all the decorations, but also the safety protocols. If you notice, they're spacing in between.
Yeah.
And this is great, Marlene.
Well, you know, we're all ready for the pandemic to be over, and so it's small moments like this that remind us that we are not done as yet with battling this disease, but that we're getting to a more comfortable spot of managing it.
Yeah.
And so today is a very critical day. It's also, I'm sure, going to be a litmus test to see how the passengers especially respond and follow through with protocols as the day progresses. So a big day today, and we'll have more updates. We'll have more updates in our 6 p.m. newscast tonight. So there you have it. That's the first cruise ship, the Carnival Vista, back in Belize.
Back in Belize, indeed. You could see the passengers. They look comfortable wearing their shorts, and the weather is perfect, Marlene.
I know. I'm telling you, it was a gorgeous morning this morning.
It is.
That sunrise, I mean, they got the perfect one coming in. But that's the update on the local front. There's also big news happening in the region, and I wanted to mention it earlier, so just to be able to pick up on it now. Yesterday, actually, overnight, the Prime Minister of Haiti was assassinated.
Yes.
Prime Minister Moise was assassinated. His wife was also injured in that particular attack, and you know, we could go another hour talking about what's happening in Haiti, or what has been happening. But it definitely is a very critical time in that country. They have definitely seen quite a bit of protest, quite a bit of upsurges, but this is a different level of issues that we're seeing now. So we'll, of course, have some more information on that a bit later on, but do keep them in mind. They have been, I can only imagine the level of chaos that may be unfolding in that country. And it is, President, thank you. I can only imagine the level of chaos that they may be in today. So our thoughts are with them and
his family, of course. That country has been in uproar for about a year or two, and that's the situation. But it is definitely a situation we're keeping our eyes on here at Channel 5. We continue to update you on our sites, our Facebook page, and of course in the evening news. But it was an excellent time this morning. Great conversations. We want to say congratulations to Sean for actually being chosen to represent us at the Tokyo Olympics this year. A big congratulations to him. He's ready, he's set, and he has, of course, good time. So we know we could actually lean on him. A big thank you as well to the wife and husband duo, Albert and Fiona. Great story, guys. Thank you so very much. But we need to leave. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. We're thankful that you're able to wake up and starting your morning right with us. If you've got any questions, any concerns, feel free to drop us a line at oye@channel5belize.com.
Remember, you can find us on Facebook at Open Your Eyes BZ and on Instagram at OYEBelize. Remember to tune in tomorrow morning at 6:30 when you open your eyes.
Start your morning right. As per usual, you keep your eyes, your minds,
and your hearts open. We'll see you soon. Enjoy your day, Belize.
Open Your Eyes was brought to you by the Belize Bank. Our country, your bank.